There comes a moment in every life when the weight becomes almost unbearable. Not the dramatic kind of suffering that makes for good stories. Something quieter, something heavier. The kind of exhaustion that settles into your bones after months, maybe years, of pushing forward and seeing so little in return. You wake up in the morning, and the first thought isn't excitement. It isn't even anxiety. It's a dull, grey question. What's the point? You've tried. You've tried harder than most people will ever understand. You've shown up when you didn't want to. You've kept going when everything inside you was screaming to stop. And yet here you are, tired. Not just physically tired, but tired in your soul. If you're feeling this right now, I want you to know something. You are not weak, you are not broken, and you are not alone. Nearly 2,000 years ago, one of the most powerful men who ever lived sat alone in his tent, surrounded by war, disease, and betrayal, and he felt exactly what you're feeling right now. His name was Marcus Aurelius, and what he wrote in those darkest moments became one of the greatest philosophical works in human history. Marcus Aurelius did not choose to be emperor. The role was thrust upon him, and with it came a burden that would have crushed most men. During his reign, the Roman Empire was struck by the Antonine Plague, which killed millions. Germanic tribes invaded from the north. His most trusted general, Avidius Cassius, betrayed him and declared himself emperor. His wife was rumored to be unfaithful. Several of his children died in infancy, and yet, every morning, Marcus Aurelius sat down and wrote. Not letters to the Senate, not military orders. He wrote to himself. Private notes, reminders, arguments with his own exhaustion. In Book 5 of his Meditations, he wrote something that still resonates across the centuries. He said, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for, to huddle under the blankets and stay warm?" This is not the writing of a man who had it all figured out. This is a man arguing with himself, a man who was tired, a man who wanted to stay in bed and let the world handle itself, and yet he got up every single morning. The question isn't whether you'll feel tired. You will. The question is what you do when that tiredness arrives. We live in a world that sells us a dangerous lie. The lie is that successful people are always motivated, that the great ones wake up every day burning with passion, that if you're not excited about your life, something is wrong with you. Nothing could be further from the truth. Seneca, writing to his friend Lucilius, said sometimes even to live is an act of courage. Think about that. One of the greatest Stoic philosophers, a man of extraordinary wealth and influence, acknowledged that simply existing, simply continuing, takes courage. The Stoics understood something that our modern world has forgotten. Motivation is not a permanent state. It is weather. It comes and goes. Some days the sun is out and everything feels possible. Other days, the fog rolls in so thick you can't see your own hand in front of you. The Stoics did not rely on motivation. They relied on something far more durable. They relied on purpose, on duty, on the understanding that your worth is not measured by how you feel, but by what you do when feeling fails you. Epictetus, who was born a slave and endured physical abuse that left him permanently crippled, taught his students this: no great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. Your exhaustion does not mean you are failing. It may mean you are in the middle of becoming something, and the middle is always the hardest part. Here is where Stoic philosophy becomes truly powerful. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your tiredness is not an obstacle to your growth, it is part of it. Every time you continue when you want to stop, you are building something inside yourself that cannot be built any other way. You are forging resilience. You are proving to yourself that you are more than your feelings, more than your comfort. Think of it this way. A muscle does not grow during the easy repetitions, it grows during the ones that burn. The ones where every fiber in your body is telling you to put the weight down. That burning sensation isn't a sign that something is wrong, it's a sign that something is changing. The same is true in life. The periods of exhaustion, of doubt, of wanting to give up, these are not interruptions to your journey. They are the journey. They are the forge in which your character is shaped. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction." nor a man perfected without trials. You are not being punished, you are being polished. Now, I want to be very clear about something. The Stoics were not advocates of blind grinding. They were not the ancient equivalent of hustle culture. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote about the importance of retreat, of going within yourself to find peace. There is a profound difference between quitting and resting. Quitting says, I will never try again. Resting says, I will try again. But first I need to breathe. The Stoics practiced what they called anachoresis, a retreat into the self. Marcus Aurelius wrote, people look for retreats for themselves, in the country, to the coast, or in the mountains. You too are inclined to have a great desire for such things. But this is altogether a mark of the most common sort of person, for it is in your power, whenever you wish to retreat into yourself. When you are tired, you do not need to keep sprinting, but you do need to keep walking. You do not need to solve everything today, but you do need to take one step, just one. The Stoic approach is not about denying your exhaustion, it is about refusing to let exhaustion have the final word. Epictetus taught that every person is given a role, not the role they would choose, necessarily, but the role that is theirs, and the measure of a person is not whether they enjoy the role, but whether they play it well. He said, remember that you are an actor in a drama, of such a kind as the author pleases to make it, if short, of a short one, if long, of a long one. If it is his pleasure, you should act a poor man, a cripple, a governor, or a private person, see that you act it naturally. For this is your business, to act well, the character assigned you, to choose it is another's. You did not choose to be tired right now, you did not choose this particular stretch of difficulty, but you can choose how you meet it. You can choose to meet it with dignity, with patience, with the quiet understanding that this too is part of the work. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself again and again, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The world can take many things from you. It can take your money, your status, your comfort, your health. But it cannot take the one thing that matters most, your ability to choose your response, your ability to face the difficulty and say, I am still here, I am still trying, and that is enough. There is a kind of heroism that no one talks about. It is not the heroism of great victories or dramatic comebacks. It is the heroism of continuing, of getting out of bed on the days when nothing inside you wants to, of doing the work when no one is watching and no one is clapping. Seneca wrote, it does not matter what you bear, but how you bear it. The world will not always reward your persistence in real time. There will be stretches where it feels like you're shouting into a void, where every effort seems to disappear into nothing. But the Stoics knew something about those quiet, unrewarded moments. They knew that character is built precisely there, not on the stage, but in the wings, not in the spotlight, but in the silence. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself during one of his darkest periods, not to feel exasperated, or defeated, or despondent, because your days aren't packed with wise or moral actions, but to get back up when you fail, to celebrate behaving like a human, however imperfectly, and fully embrace the pursuit that you've embarked on. Read that again. Get back up when you fail. Celebrate behaving like a human, however imperfectly. This is not the philosophy of perfection. It is the philosophy of persistence. It is the philosophy of trying again, and again and again, not because you are guaranteed success, but because the trying itself is what makes you who you are. If you are listening to this, and you feel like you have nothing left, I want to leave you with one final thought. You have survived every single difficult day you have ever faced. Every one. Your track record for getting through hard times is 100%. That is not luck. That is you. The Stoics believe that the universe does not give you challenges you cannot handle. Not because life is fair, but because you are stronger than you know. Your tiredness is not evidence of your weakness. It is evidence of how long you have been strong. Marcus Aurelius, in one of his most intimate passages, wrote, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. You are still breathing. You are still here. And as long as you are here, the story is not over. So rest if you need to, but do not quit. Take a moment. Take a day. Take whatever time you need to gather yourself. And then, when you are ready, place one foot in front of the other. That is all anyone has ever done. That is all anyone has ever needed to do. The path forward is not about giant leaps. It is about the next step, and you are capable of that step. You always have been. This is the Stoic way, not the absolute